everyone, this is Nicole, social media editor of This Built America, and I am here with Eric Hudson, the founder of Preserve Products, established in 1996, so almost been around for 20 years, and a very interesting product. Home and bath and kitchen goods made from recycled products, and they're colorful and they're fun, and they're also very great sustainable products. So we're going to start here with Eric. And how are you today, Eric? Doing pretty good?
I am doing very well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Great. And how did you become interested in sustainability?
I became interested in trying to lighten our impact on the earth before sustainability really became a term. So back in the early 90s, we didn't use the term sustainability. We generally, what I was interested in was starting a company that reused Earth's resources, a company that made something in the United States of America. But I think generally I started moving to being more concerned about the Earth in my 30s. So it was really something that was sort of a seismic shift in myself. I mean, I had a natural roots, grew up in the Berkshires, Western Massachusetts, out in the hills. A lot of tree-hugging hippies out there. But it wasn't really until I was done with some work in the financial industry and working with sort of intangible jobs, and then also this feeling of, I think moving into, it's not my middle years, but in the 30s I definitely started to think more about how we needed to lighten our impact on the earth, or we're really going to have some problems.
So your background is in finance then, or was it anything, in ecology or anything like that?
Yeah, it was in finance. So when I got out of college, I started working at Fidelity, and I worked for Fidelity for 6.5 years in a number of different divisions, and ended up trading securities on their trading desk. It was a fun job. It was the kind of job that was tough to sort of get a crowbar out and pry yourself out of the seat. But I wanted to basically, change my career and start to learn more about how to create a business, run a business, manage a business, and I applied to Babson's MBA program and left Fidelity and went to that.
That's great. So you did get some educational training as far as business administration and those sorts of things.
Absolutely. Before I pulled the trigger, I had to get MBA under my belt. And Babson also, I'm sure this kind of question will come up, but Babson also instills in you the desire to start a company. I mean, it's one of the nation's best entrepreneurial programs, and they're really good about giving you the tools, the confidence, and the energy and incentive to start your own company.
So you get out of school and you decide you want, you've had this idea for this company. What was it like when you first started out? How did everything come to fruition?
Well, there are a few years there where when I came out of business school, I was really kind of targeted for, I needed a job. So the early 90s was kind of a tough period to come out of a grad program, and my skills were really inclined towards management consulting, because I had some good accounting experience at Babson, and then I had my Fidelity experience, and banks were going through a major shift at that time, and I was able to apply both my cost accounting business process redesign education with my Fidelity experience and help banks to, your traditional bank, to try to extend their services into more of the Fidelity workplace of the world and try to compete more with the investment banks. So it was hard to say no to that opportunity, so I did do consulting for 2 or 3 years. The great part about it was it paid well, and I created my own organization, so I worked with other people. I didn't have a job I had to check in with every day, and I worked more projects and got a decent salary and was able to really kind of pool up some resources. All right, now what am I going to do? How am I going to start this company? And that was really my bridge from my MBA program, a decent job, and then say, okay, I need to jump off the cliff and start Preserve. So that consulting work facilitated that because I had some good time off. I could go for long runs if I needed to and brainstorm ideas. And then it also, gave me the impetus again, because I was, again, working in more of an intangible world, this whole consulting thing, to say, okay, enough's enough. I now need to start making a company and a product here in the United States.
That's interesting because we do get people, that come to us, ask us questions because we are featuring manufacturing companies. They have ideas for products and they're interested in, getting them patented and those sorts of things. But, they don't have the time, they don't have, the resources. What do you suggest, for people that do have an idea, how to go about that?
Yeah, it's no, there's no question. It's really tricky. I think, one of the questions I asked the other day is how do you manage being an entrepreneur and having a family at the same time? I now have 3 boys, and they keep me very busy, as well as my wife does as well. But my answer was start the company before you have kids. So unfortunately, that's how I felt. It's like I think I would have a very difficult time starting Preserve with 3 children presently, and just the amount of time that it requires to start a company. So, sort of going back to being a single person, one of the biggest steps that I took was working on a consulting project. I was in Boston. I was right next to where I was starting the company, and I was able to continue to work at this consulting organization as well as start Preserve. So it was just a very stable opportunity and employment that I was able to, night owl, if you will, weekends, do the work, and really create what I needed to create with Preserve to substantiate the opportunity to both verify that there was an interest in recycling consumers to buy products made out of recycled materials, and also to get to a point where I had investors and I had a tool or a machine that was about ready to make the product. I had all that together and an interest from Whole Foods Market at the time, Bread and Circus, which was a division of Whole Foods, in Preserve, in our toothbrush, before I finally said, okay, I got to go full time on Preserve. So I guess the answer is just I had to work 2 jobs for a good 6 to 8 months before I finally cut the cord and said, it's time to launch. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs do that.
Yeah, so sometimes you just got to dig in and put the work in and do what you can at that time. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that kind of, answers one of the questions that I had. What are some of the greatest challenges been for well, I guess not only you, but for the company? You've been around now for almost 20 years. What are some of the ups and downs that you've faced?
Yeah, one of the biggest downs was back in the late 90s. There was an article on the cover of the New York Times Magazine, Sunday Magazine section, that said recycling is garbage. And some of the people out there might remember that article, but it was definitely a crusher. It was one of those things that we had just launched the company, just going to market, and all of a sudden, this major press piece comes out saying this is all a waste of time. What's beautiful is in 2014, we know it's not all a waste of time. We know that there's a marketplace out there, an incredibly large marketplace for recycled materials. People use terms like circularity or circular economy, basically taking those things that are offshoots from other production waste from consumers and rebirthing it, bringing it back into a product that can be used again. We know today that it's right on. We know today it makes financial sense and environmental sense. But back in the late 90s, we weren't as sure. And when that article came out, it was really crushing. And I just remember going for a good long run or a good long walk in Cambridge and really saying, is what we're doing does it make sense? Should we more be investing in efficiencies versus recycling? I think we know today that we need to do both. And that was just one, really high-profile challenge to the recycling marketplace that kind of hit me by storm. I'd say other than a couple of those instances where it was really kind of challenging the premise and the foundation of a company that's making products from recycled materials. I think other challenges have been really looking at, are we remaining focused? Is focusing on the products that we're launching to market the right thing? We also have an environmental solution side of our business where we help other companies to work with us to do a lot of things that Preserve does, whether it's sourcing recycled materials or developing recycling systems. And we love this aspect of our business. We love really helping other companies to do what we do and working together with those companies to reduce the overall waste that each company creates. Basically, kind of waste makes food in our relationship with a lot of our Gimme 5 partners. And that's been some of a lot of people will ask us, are you doing the right thing? Are you focused on just being a consumer products company, or are you focused on an environmental solutions company? And I like the way they both come together. I like the fact that we've kind of recreated what a company can be in part with Preserve, in the sense that we are using and working with other companies and the waste that comes from their supply chain or their product delivery, and turning that into a product that can then be delivered to market and to our preservers, as we like to call them, through the Preserve brand. So there's that's an element of are you focused in the right places? We often have had that sort of self inspection over the years, and we know, or we're convinced, that it's right for us. We love our Gimme 5 program. We love that offering, and we think it makes a lot of sense for our business overall. In addition, there's also questions of, have we launched the right products? We have 5 categories of products, and were they the right ones? In hindsight, we think they are, but there are always other choices that we could have made along the way. And as a young, growing company, there's always those resource constraints where you have to make the right decisions with the very limited and very valuable resources that you have. So those are some of the key challenges that I think a lot of small companies deal with, and we certainly have.
Can you explain the Gimme 5 program and maybe an example of a company that you work with regarding it?
Absolutely. The Gimme 5 program, we founded in 2008, and it's called Preserve Gimme 5, and in essence, it was our creation of a way of getting back number 5 plastics from our recycling consumers. So, since 1997, we've been making products from recycled materials. Still, 10 years later, we had consumers coming to us saying, I love what you're doing, but I still can't recycle my yogurt cups. So I am trying to recycle a number 5 plastic, and my community doesn't take it. And they said, will you take it from me, and will you turn it into your Preserve products here in the U.S.? So we said yes. We had enough of these people coming to us saying, you guys got to do this. So we said, all right, we will create a program. The number 5, or polypropylene recycling marketplace, had not progressed enough for us to feel like it was, it was established, or it was satisfying these recycling consumers that were looking for a solution. So we started Gimme 5, primarily with the help of Whole Foods Market. We did a couple pilots at co-ops, one Park Slope Food Co-op in Brooklyn, but ultimately we brought it to Whole Foods, and they came to us and we said, we love this program and let's start this. So in almost all Whole Foods Market, there's a Gimme 5 bin, and you're able to bring in your number 5 plastics, put it in our bin, cottage cheese containers, butter tubs, yogurt containers, Burt's Bees lip balms, or any lip balm that's made of number 5, and recycle it through the Gimme 5 program. We also take Brita water filters as well. And those materials come back to us through the distribution centers of Whole Foods primarily, and then we reprocess that and turn them into Preserve products. Our partners are Brita, Burt's Bees, Stonyfield Farm, and Berry Plastics, and then we also have a new partner coming, which is Plum. And then we also work with Keurig as well. Keurig is a little bit outside of the retail program, but we do recycle number 5 Keurig View cups. I think you may be familiar with them. There's sort of the one cup serve coffee portals, and they have a more advanced number 5 plastic version, the View version, and we recycle those.
That's awesome. So it's a nice consumer-driven program, and a lot of companies don't have the opportunity to do something like that. So that's pretty neat. Consumers are buying your product and they're giving it back, and it's a very cyclical operation. That's great.
Yeah, we love it because really it was a creation that was on the side of our primary business model of delivering preserved products to consumers, and it was a creation that we came to provide a solution to an environmental problem. Number 5 Plastics has come a long way since 2008. It's really leapfrogged in a lot of ways. Basically, the recycling availability of number 5 recycling today is up around 60+% in communities nationwide, mostly because of single stream recycling availability. And then the production of number 5 plastic has extended beyond number 1s and number 2s, or PET and high density polyethylene. So polypropylene has become the most desired plastic to use in the marketplace. It's the most produced plastic in the United States of America. And that's primarily due to the fact that a lot of companies have moved to it because it is one of the most benign plastics, and it's also one of the most versatile plastics. So a lot of companies that were using polycarbonates that had the BPA scare have moved over to polypropylene. So we're excited to have this recycling solution with this material that's become the most manufactured voluminous in the United States.
Yeah, it seemed in the past that companies shied away from recycling or using recycled materials because of the cost. Does the recycling of materials or using recycled materials impact production costs at all?
That's a great question. We do get that a lot. You can process a gaylord of yogurt cups into a pellet, a recycled pellet, for about the same cost as it is to buy a virgin plastic pellet. So volume matters. So the more that you're doing this and the more efficient you are in the processing, the more you're able to bring those costs down. But as a rough benchmark, after 17 years of doing this, we've got our cost of recycled materials at about what virgin plastic prices are. We think we can get lower. And it really does come with, again, being more efficient and having larger volumes with each shipment. The biggest expense is the shipping expense. So we always try to be as close to source as possible. I mean, one of the reasons I mentioned in this Built America video is that we manufacture in the United States. Primarily, one of the biggest reasons was because we knew our market was going to be in the United States. We knew our recycling was going to be in the United States. So we didn't feel that taking materials from China or wherever it might be, recycling and bringing it and distributing in the United States made sense, or bringing recycled materials from China, make it in the U.S. and then shipping something back to China. We wanted to recycle in the U.S., manufacture in the U.S., and deliver in the U.S. And we hope ultimately to have similar programs throughout the rest of the world where we're recycling within that close to source community and manufacturing there and delivering to those consumers there.
Do companies do that? Do they outsource their recycling to other countries?
Yes, they do. Yep, we do. I mean, we've started something called the Green Fence, which prohibits some of the exporting of recycled materials that we had been doing to China, but that's just coming into force now. So we had taken a lot of our mixed plastic bales and sent them over to Asia. And still a lot of number 5 does go to other countries, and that's still one of the wonderful things about the Gimme 5 program is people who are recycling a lip balm or a yogurt cup know that it's staying here in the United States and making a product here in the United States, and it's the best life, next life for it.
Yeah, it seems like it would be easier, and it's kind of nice because then it spawns other companies as far as recycling and whatnot. So yeah, it's very cyclical, and it really helps out everybody, so that's great. Now, I know a lot of people are probably interested in, you're making these products from these so-called, recycled goods, this things that you might usually throw out in the garbage. Do you want to just show us a few of the products just to show people, what they'd be getting?
Yeah, absolutely. In my left hand right here, I have a Preserve toothbrush. I think I'm holding that the right way for you. This is our #1 selling product and certainly our most well-known product. It's been at market since 1997. Behind me, I have a number of other products from Preserve. Grab a couple here. We have food storage containers, the mini and the small round. So this is our second category. And we have a razor. We have a shave product. Preserve razor is the #1 selling in the natural channel. We're now working on a second generation razor, which will be coming out late 2014. And then we have kitchen products. We have a small colander, which is a real winner. People love it. We have a large colander. And we have mixing bowls, which you don't want to have a football party or a kids movie without these, because they're super for popcorn, as well as mixing and baking. And then we have tableware. So it's hard to get over here, but we have our everyday tableware line. And we have cups, bowls, and plates, and reusable cutlery. Preserve tableware is, it's recognized out there as being the #1 seller in the natural channel. And I think, we were one of the first probably of making a big statement around, let's get off of disposable tableware, let's get off of the styrene throwaways, let's make something that's reusable, that you can wash and use thousands of times. And you probably can't see this, but we do have language on the back of it, at the bottom of the plates, that talks about reuse forever, or return it to us and we will. I also have Braille on the bottom so that people know who are sight impaired what our message is and why we do what we do. We also have something called Shareware, where we have a program where we encourage not only reuse within your own home, but reuse within your community. So if you are in a town in which you have a lot of birthday parties or parties in general, and you're don't need, you need a big set for one party, you then can share that big set after you're done with it with people in your community. So we have a web page on our website called Shareware, and we love it when people come and share stories about how they're really not only reusing in their home, but reusing within their community with Preserve Shareware.
That's very convenient. That's smart. I like that idea. Yeah, eliminates a lot of waste.
We also like to highlight friends products on our website and in partnerships. Preserve has a penchant for partnerships. We believe that working with other companies is really important to, again, extending our mission, but sharing with each other best practices and being transparent and really trying to help each other to extend. So one of our favorite companies is Blue Avocado, and they have a lunch bag that goes along with our shareware, and then we also have our food storage in their lunch bag as well. So we feature these products on our website as well, and hopefully soon we'll be distributing this wonderful product called the Dopper. It's a reusable water bottle, and it is a Netherlands-based company, but we're hopefully soon going to be the U.S. distributor of the product. But we love them because they have a deep mission. They're trying to get people off of disposable bottles into a reusable bottle. Trying to seek people to source more just tap water versus bottled water, and they also give 10% of their income to safe and clean water projects in Nepal. It's really thinking through business and trying to create social change along with just operating their business every day and having a product that also tries to create behavioral change.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like, companies can make more of an impact when they're working together, rather than just trying to do everything on their own. So it sounds like you guys have really embraced that.
Just like people can, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I guess, as far as Preserve, what have you seen any impacts from, manufacturing in Waltham and manufacturing in Massachusetts? How has that impacted your community?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in general, it's hard to say that it's directly impacted the community. We wanted to make products in the United States of America. The fact that we've picked Leominster as where we have 2 or 3 partners I think it's how much that's affecting Leominster. In a small way, it is, right? Every business that's doing better in a town assists the town, especially in Leominster, which was recognized as the plastics capital of the world. So they're really one of the first communities that started to figure out what plastics were and how, in a lot of ways, more efficiently it could deliver a product to market, for instance. So I think in a small way, Preserve is helping. Our partner there is Lamana on the manufacturing side. And I know he's excited about our partnership and thinks that we have a long way to grow. But in general, I think that keeping manufacturing in the United States definitely has an impact, and the more companies that are seeking to do that, can start to create more of a real shift here in the job market, as well as the efficiencies that we can create in the manufacturing environment. I think we lost some pretty significant ground from in the 80s and early 90s. With less of a focus on that core manufacturing activity, and I think we've realized that there's no reason that we should have lost that. There's a lot of ways that we can focus on being more competitive in manufacturing here in the United States. Sorry, one other thought, but I think that captures it.
Definitely. Couple more questions. What is one thing that you wish someone had told you about starting a business?
I think that's a good question. I know it's a good question. I think I have a good answer for it, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty happy with how things have gone at Preserve, and I don't necessarily think that someone could have told me something that would have helped me, avoid a certain path. So I guess, in answering your question, I think I'll say that I'm the type of entrepreneur that really needed to try things and learn. So I don't think advice would have helped me, because I have that kind of nature where I need to figure it out on myself. But I've always relied on both partners, advisors, associates, and I think business school really taught me that. I was probably more of an independent, maybe stubborn person before going to my MBA program at Babson, and that kind of really the teamwork that they encourage and really force upon you at a business school is essential to be successful in business. So I think without that MBA program, I probably would have had more challenges at Preserve. But we've been able to build a fantastic company, a company that's definitely had many groundbreaking moments, and we love coming to work here every day. So I'm really satisfied in that regard. I think Preserve could probably be a much larger company if somebody else had been running it for the last 17 years. But I'm not sure that I would like where it is as a much larger company, but I might. So I'm not here to say that I've run this company perfectly in any way, shape, or form. I love what we've created. I love coming to work every day, and I love where we are. And I think we have a lot of opportunities ahead of us. Really the amount of partnership opportunities as well as new product opportunities that we have get us really excited every day. I think one of again, to get back to challenges, and I'm not sure, how advice could have helped this, but we like any small company that's doing well, we have so many opportunities to choose from, and it's really that challenge of the focus and being able to say no, and really being able to add on human resources and fantastic people here to be able to pursue the right opportunities that come to us. So I think that probably I could have had some senior advisors in the first 10 years that would have helped me make better choices as it relates to being able to say no. I think earlier on it was much harder to say no. We were one of the first companies that made products from recycled materials, or focused on this green space. So in a lot of ways, kind of the world was our oyster, and thinking about what would our next product be. And I remember when someone else would launch a product made from recycled materials or in this green space, I'd be like, wow, okay, we could have done that. But there's, needless to say, there's only so much you can do. So I think probably, we have been focused. We have had some projects that have led us a bit astray over the years, and I think that if I had a, more disciplined person back up over here, he or she would be, you got to stay focused on the prize and avoid that one. So I probably went down more paths than I should have, because we are explorers at Preserve. We are adventurers, and when we see a problem, we want to solve it. So in a lot of ways, if I had a more disciplined advisor ahead giving me these thoughts, it would be, that focus direction.
It's definitely that learning process that makes you better and makes your company better. So, we appreciate all the different adventure that, you guys have gone on to explore and to produce. So, thank you for that.
Right.
So last question, and you may have answered this already, but, what is coming up for the future of Preserve? Any sort of projects or anything that we can look out for?
Absolutely. So talking about solving environmental challenges, the next product that we're going to launch in the next 2 months is called Preserve to Go, and it's a reusable to-go container. In essence, trying to solve that problem of someone going to a cafeteria or a cafe and getting a to-go container that's made of styrene or what have you, and it's just this sort of extra waste that you don't need, and you can sort of hit yourself in the head and say, boy, if I had actually brought a food storage container in, I could have got my food in that, bring it home, wash it in home, and reuse it. We do that with reusable bags. We do that with reusable bottles today. We think to-go containers are the next space. So we have launched to market, again, in the next 30 days, with our partners, Berry Plastics as a manufacturer, and OZ is a partner of ours, and they create this system, which is basically a machine that allows you to scan in the to-go container, the Preserve to Go, and drop it into the back of this machine to be washed, and then you get a token. And then with that token, you can go back into that cafeteria that you visit frequently and get a fresh, cleaned Preserve to Go for your next meal. So we're really excited about it. It's getting a lot of interest from universities and corporate cafes, where you have this more closed environment where people are going back to that same cafe or cafeteria every day. That's Preserve to Go. And I mentioned we are launching Preserve Razor 2, next generation. It's been a good amount of months in development, and we think we are really going to have a fantastic product to launch to market. I expect it's going to be coming shipping in the first couple of months of 2015.
Well, good luck with that, and hopefully the to-go will eventually work with pizza, because we're big pizza fans. So
Absolutely.
That could be a nice product to have, rather than all those pizza boxes laying around. So,
recycling them.
Yeah, that's right. So, but thank you so much, Eric, and we really appreciate the work you guys are doing and letting us tell your story, and we look forward to everything that is going to be coming up for you guys.
Thank you very much, Nicole. It's a pleasure to be on, and we love the story that was on This Built America. It's great to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.